Hello, my friends. This is about earth signs. We're going to be going over Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Again, this is about earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. One of the things different about my readings is that I do use something that's called a Spanish deck, Latin deck, they call it, and these are very different to the tarot cards. And I want to talk about the personality types that there are when it comes to astrology, but also about who are you compatible with in your relationships and your friendships. And as an extra bonus, what I'm trying to do is, as you can see, these cards, as I was explaining, they all consider Spanish deck. They're very different to tarot cards, by the way. I have an intro video separate if you want to understand the history of the Spanish cards versus to, angel cards or oracle cards, very different to these. They have a very profound history, these two. But let's go ahead and jump in. I really want to go over something that hopefully might guide you a little bit more as we represent different elements, right? And Earth is grounded. It's just there's signs where we you're able to see a lot of things that many other signs cannot see. At the end of the video, by the way, I will be reading these cards right here. This one I want to start by the number 7. This is actually the card that was pretty much chosen by energy. I call it of vibration. And the number 7, like I said, represents Taurus, and it's the 7 spades. Okay. And then we have the card of Virgo. Virgo came out with the 12, which is the king of gold or coins. And then finally it's number 8, which is the 8 of clubs. It's for Capricorn. Like I said, at the end of the video, I will go over that. But I just want to primary to start with the personality types of each sign briefly, and things that might help you in your career, also in your relationships, and along with who you're compatible with, right? What better to know who we're compatible to have better relationships, instead of going through, disappointments and breakups. If we know a little bit in advance how to take advantage of what our energy and vibrations go along with other signs. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Biju, and I've been doing Spanish reading cards since I was a teenager. And this is my first time actually doing it here as a reading, and I hope you enjoy. So let's go ahead and get started here. So, earth signs are very rooted, they grounded, they have a very good approach to life. You really encourage others to follow their dreams. Most of you work in the finance. Whether you're bankers, whether you might be accountants, whether you might be in some sort of investment company, or perhaps you offer some type of service like that, or if not, these are the ones that are a little bit more inclined for your earth sign in case you're considering any change of careers or even become an entrepreneur. Definitely finance it's a very strong and positive feel. You are very practical in life. You want the facts, you want answers before making any big decisions. You have a tendency of being very forthcoming. You expect the same, by the way, from those around you. So therefore, you struggle to get along with people who are, chaotic, disrupted, or irresponsible, or especially unreliable. It doesn't mean that yourself, you're not immune to these behaviors. but you have a tendency of planning very much ahead. So for an example, I see that most Virgos, um, they always have a full calendar. It's like they have to be constantly busy doing something. And then you will find a Capricorn, for an example, without a detailed 5-year plan. And then Taurus, it's pretty much they have a belief that they held once they were a child. And you're so attached to that belief system that sometimes it's hard for you to open up a little bit. But you definitely dedicate yourself to something um, that is strong for you. But again, because of being this earth signs, I can see why that could happen. You're really not unfamiliar with holding some grudges, okay? Because sometimes you can have a little bit of like I say, you keep grudges from other people and perhaps a little bit of disappointments. Um, and those are energies that usually do not serve us, right? So anytime we need to release anything that is just kind of putting us down as a spirit, right? As a person that we are. And I think that's really, really important that you try really to release, those angers, frustrations, that you might have towards people who probably done you wrong, but sometimes letting go is much better. We forgive ourselves, which is what matters the most. And then we can move on. You're definitely very compatible with water signs. You definitely are because you are considered as an earth sign a feminine. You are what we call yin energy. Okay, the same as the water signs. They're feminine side of yin. And then fire and air, if you don't know, they're masculine. They're more yang energy. And by the way, I have other videos. I've been doing only the special player just for both elements of the astrology signs. So you will find another one for the air, for the fire, and for the water, in case you're interested in listening to those or watching them. And one thing I noticed about earth signs is that you could be very judgmental. You can judge sometimes a little harsh certain people. Um, and we have to remember that, all of us are so different, right? After all, we're all unique. And when you, like I said, because you hold sometimes a little bit anger towards other people that done you wrong, um, that also can slow your progress in life. Okay. You are very skilled. You are. And when you truly you love your home, you really like to invest in long-term relationships. Um, you're very loving in general, you really are. And even also the way of loving and feeling, you have a tendency to be perceived as a cold person by others. And sometimes belonging, even, in other words, I like to rephrase this, even your belonging can sometimes fall under the umbrella of an importance because you're too tactical, you're very materialistic. And that can sometimes affect your relationships. And you're very good about making money. Okay, especially Virgo. It's a sign that they can make as much money as they set their minds to. So you have a very positive as earth sign after all. Um, Gaia, a beautiful planet, right? It's Earth. One thing about Earth signs that I have noticed is that you can be very blunt. Like I said, you can be extremely realistic, but you do have a strong devotion. When you care about something that you want to do, something that you have planned, again, like I said, you can be a little bit analytical in some ways. Um, and you're good with your finance, but I think it's not until you get into a certain, mature age, because at the beginning, I seen earth signs where they can make a lot of money, like I said, I just, a few seconds ago, but they can also, as soon as the money comes in, it's like it burns your pockets, and they're spending the rest of the money. So it's very important that as you get older, you make wisely, investments. Okay. Um, you're definitely very devoted to helping other people, and especially to help them see what they're worth. Mhm. People come to the earth signs to get advice and to get value. So I think this is a really important karmic lesson, which is a lifetime for earth signs. So right now we're going to go ahead and jump into what understand a little more the difference between each sign, right? Because even though the three of you are earth signs, there is, a differential. And, the interesting about Taurus is that you are a fixed earth energy. What does that mean? It makes you double grounded in your thoughts, in your beliefs, in your opinions, in the way of how you are. In other words, you're really headstrong. But at the same time, it's hard to find someone that's loyal because you have a strong loyalty, Taurus, towards any other people that you build relationship with. And you're ruled by Venus, right? So Venus represents love, sex, beauty, and money. Okay. And you are a very sensual creature. You love to eat and drink and dress very nice. You like to have a very, nice decoration of a home. And because you represent the bull, right? That's why most tourists are very hard-headed. You're very intelligent and you're hardworking, and definitely you're very dependable, by the way. But one of your negative sides is being hard-headed, or as we call it, stubborn. So you are in the rule of the second house. What does that mean? Possessions, value, and again, finance. So you do best really when you can live a very lavishly and have a free will over your expenditures. So in other words, like I mentioned just a few moments ago, earth signs are very good about making money. Very, very good. Most of you get paid very well for the work that you do. But you also like to be overspending. And most of these earth signs I have seen where they really don't get a grip of their financials until almost mid-age. And some of them don't ever get a grip of it. And it's important. It's important to enjoy life, right? And to do things that are pleasurable. But at the same time, we all know that saving a little money, it's going to help you for a rainy day, right? Or for your future plans when you retire, or when you want to do that travel, and whatever it is that you want to do. So I think it's important that you get a better respect for the hard, work that you're doing as you're earning your money, right? So I want to talk about now about Virgo, right? Virgo it's really concerned with helping, healing, and nurturing other people. They're definitely very practical, that's for sure. And they can be a perfectionist. They can be very perfectionist, and sometimes that kind of backfires, Virgo. But they're very passionate. I mean, they really, when they love from all their heart. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, right? So that's the planet of communication, technology, travel. They love to live. I think probably I would say probably Virgo, out of all your earth signs, are probably one of the most um they love to spend all their money. So Virgo, um, be a little more cautious with how you save your money and how you invest it, because you definitely love living present moment. You don't plan too much ahead. You really live more in the present, but you also have a tendency of living in the past. And remember, we can move forward when we thinking and living in the past. But yeah, Virgo, it has a tend to live, to eat. You love good food. You love restaurants, you love good catering, and international, most of you do. So it's not like you only stick to one type of cuisine, right? But you're very controlling. So that's something to look into, right? And you don't take health too seriously. And I think that's something that we can take for granted, right? It's important to keep our energy, to physically, be in good condition. So I always tell Virgo to, even though you do day-to-day life, uh, sometimes you need to kind of channel a little bit of spiritual healing through earth, okay? And purify yourself and be able to create a little bit of a balance. So that's for Virgo. And then my dear Capricorn, okay. I see Capricorns being so self-motivated. They're very good leaders. And they usually have very good titles. Reputation is very important to them. And you definitely make great progress in anything they feel responsible for. You're definitely ambition, very ambitious. And you're able to learn to let go of the need for control, Capricorn. So you would definitely do well if you can learn how to let go of the need for control. You're ruled by Saturn, right? It's the planet of routine, long-term planning. Capricorn does best in situations that they know they can take care of for many, many years to come. Okay. You like steady relationships, jobs, and friendships. And you're very, since you rule the 10th house, usually I see a lot of Capricorns are very good figures in public image, career, reputation. You very have a high aspiration. And you just like to leave a mark over this earth. Oh, who you are. And you're very social. You definitely have a good personality on that. So let's go ahead and now we're going to go into the earth signs, but we're going to look into who's compatible with who, right? Because like I said at the beginning, it's it's important, right? If we knew in advance what we're more compatible, our relationships would be a lot better, right? So I see that in this case, Taurus, I see that your best connection, okay, it's usually, well, you have three people. See, that's one thing about you is like you're very flexible. That's out of all the three signs of Earth, Taurus is one of the most, flexible. I really think so. But I see you doing very well with, and I just want to go with my notes here. You're good with Scorpio. You definitely attract each other. There's no doubt about that. And, opposites do attract. And that's what happens with Taurus and Scorpio. When you're together, there's like a really depth, devotion, and again, loyalty that creeps in your heart. You have a solid foundation. I think it's a really good match. And the best part is that Taurus, you can put, your pride on the side and really explore the intensity, that you both can desperately desire. I really think you can turn into a match made in heaven. And like I say, it's not that you cannot get along with the rest of, the other signs, um, the water signs in this case, because you're going to have a tendency, earth and water, they're usually very compatible. And then, for example, air and fire, they're compatible. But I see that you and Scorpio, it's the best connection you can have. Let's go ahead and now go with Virgo because Virgo it's pretty interesting and usually it goes with Cancer. Yeah, Virgo and Cancer. And I can actually attest to that, by the way. I was listening to this because my parents, uh, one was a Virgo, one was a Cancer, and they lasted for many, many years. Um, and definitely there was a true connection. I call it almost like a soulmate kind of relationship, right? And it's interesting because when Virgo and Cancer, Cancer, they're kind of sitting two signs away, from each other, right? The opposite, but they're very compatible. And like I said, they're very attracted to each other's elements of water, right? So they make a good pair. And they really feel like at home. They're really physical, emotional, and mentally very compatible. And they really don't fall into really a very rare plateau, which is nice, right? Um, they always find something to spice up, the relationships, or whether you might have just a friendship, or maybe, it's one of your relatives. There's a really good connection. So beyond just the romantic relationship, they're just very, very compatible. And I really see that they can be a lifetime. They can be lifetime partners. But what's really, really important is that Cancer is sensitive as a water sign, right? And because of that, as long as you're both open and honest with each other and you have a trust that is non-negotiable, both Cancer and Virgo can have a real lifetime relationships. And then, my dear Capricorn, you are definitely connected with Pisces. And I think the beauty of Pisces and Capricorn is that they really, really do balance very well. It's sort of like an unspoken, gravity attraction that they have for each other. You definitely have two strong connections. You kind of like protect each other. You have that balance, which is really amazing because you ground Pisces. See what happens, Capricorn. Pisces is very dreamy, right? Sometimes they're not very realistic. And you, as an earth sign, you pull them down to earth, in other words, right? You ground them down. And at the same time, for you, Capricorn, having a Pisces, which could be sometimes a difficult sign because remember, the two fish, they go opposite direction. They're very loving. They will definitely give you unconditional love, no doubt. And they're gonna be very, very faithful. They're very faithful to their relationships. They're very lasting for years. As long as you are not um too strong or too harsh with with your words and your actions, because Pisces can get very because they're so extremely really sensitive. um they can actually get hurt very easily. So something that you might not consider to be offensive or um you know yeah, I would say offensive, uh Pisces might take it the wrong way. For you, you might just let it go. You don't care. I mean, something didn't work out, that's fine. I'm over, right? Um, but Pisces is more a sign that it does have a tendency of um, getting hurt very easily. So keep that in mind. If you ever have a relationship with the Pisces, they're remember it's the end of the sign. So as being the 12th zodiac sign, they've been through every single astrology sign, so they have a little bit of every sign in them. But yeah, they're very sensitive, so always keep that in mind and try your best to never offend a Pisces because it can be very hurtful for them. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and now what I like to do is, as I promised, I'm going to go ahead and go through the Spanish card and briefly give you an idea, to what it really represents here. So as we jump into really Taurus again, which is the seven, okay, of spades. And the seven of spades, what's really interesting about it is that sometimes, Taurus, you have, a tendency of anger and you like to argue. You have a tendency of arguments, and through the arguments, obviously, you get into an anger, um, low vibration, as I call it. And I think what's important is that you're able to know how to handle those kind of disputes. Okay, that's the downside of the Taurus is you might have disputes, disagreements, and during that, that makes you like accumulate anger inside, right? And one of the things that I can, uh, you know, let you know based on what I'm reading here with card and the energy is just to know that sometimes we need to apologize. We just need to apologize to from the heart and give opportunities to people, right? Nobody's perfect. And you have a tendency of that, of unfortunately, of keeping, some anger. And like I said, you get into all these kind of disputes that at the end, it doesn't serve you or anybody, right? But you have this beautiful, beautiful, you're evil. Number seven is always considered a very lucky number. And if you see it, see you have like the bottom is actually the past, and then the middle, right, is the present, and then it's the future. So you got a middle of a cut, and that means that you're always going to be capable of switching your energy and your thoughts. So if you already know, as you listen to this, that somehow, some way, you have been across more arguments than maybe other people, and like I say, you kind of accumulate that anger, which is not something that we want to have inside, right? But you have the opposite, which means that you can push forward and say, you know what? I deserve to forgive myself and I deserve to forgive others. And I know it's easy to say than done, right? We all have been through some disappointments in our lives, but in your peculiar case with this, card, um, sometimes cutting the past, that's what, the spades is telling you. Cut your past, that way you can move forward to, to your future. And the best way to do that is by letting go, just letting go of whatever accumulated, feelings that have gone through years. It's just not worth it. Okay, my dear Taurus. And my wonderful Virgo, my goodness, Virgo, you got a number 12 and you are the king of the gold coins. Well, as you probably know, anything that represents the gold, it's a phenomenal thing because it really provides you with a lot of financial stability, and you're able to move forward. In most kings, as that card represents, right? It's the king. He's usually, a person who live older, and see how she's pointing to the gold coin. It represents a balance of money. Okay. He's very secure. As you can see, he's standing there, right? He's professional, right? A lot of vehicles, sometimes they have a tendency also of not only financial, but they do get into like legal, and they could become attorneys, or judges, or something that has to do with the law, uh, like policemen's. So they're very good, and usually you will have great opportunities. The opportunities are always going to be there for Virgo. But the only downside to Virgo is the tendency that you can, unfortunately, you have a tendency, like another sign, which is the Aquarius sign. And based on my reading, I think it was also, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Leo. The three of you, there's about 3, 4 signs out of zodiac that have unfortunate a tendency of addictions. So if you have fallen, or you have, hopefully you might be able to recover from that, because I've seen a lot of people that sometimes cannot handle the reality of life. And even though you're earth sign, you have a tendency of having that weakness of relying into alcohol or some sort of drug or anything that that it's not helping you. But yet it's your escape, right? So that's what the first thing I would say to Virgo is that you got the money. Look at this. You got the king in the card. It's very powerful. Um, and remember, your thoughts and your decisions can make you, can really hurt you. And what I always tell Virgo is it's within you to believe that you don't need none of those um substance, to make you feel alive, or to make you feel worthy, because you are worthy. Um, So always keep in mind that to keep your self-esteem and your energy high. We all go, no matter what sign we are, we all go through, lessons of life. That's how we learn, right? And I think something I would definitely keep you cautious is to get help if you already are in some sort of bad habit, and try to replace that, because you're very workaholics, by the way. You work a lot, very, very hard for your money, but you also would like to escape very easily. So whenever you feel overwhelmed or a lot of trouble, boom, you tend to go into your addictions. So just, be cautious with that. Okay. And finally, my Capricorn, number 8 of clubs. Capricorn, like I said, you're very grounded, definitely very grounded. You have um the number 8, it's infinity, right? It represents 8 because if you look at it, it's like almost like two zeros, right? One zero on top and one on the bottom. That's how some people define the number 8. And what the card is telling you in regards to money for you too is really the majority of your gains are going to come through whether you lend money or whether they lend you money. Quite interesting. So not so much about earned income, it's about really the money that you already have earned, where you can lend it out or you can borrow from that money. Okay. That's where you have the strong emphasis of really moving forward and doing better for your financials. So the card's very strong. Really, it comes to, yeah, you got money gain. And usually it's any form of loan. So it's not even actual earnings like it is Virgo. Virgo is more of a earning kind of type income. But for you, Capricorn, you make investments, and that's where you're going to really, really benefit of that. So I think that's so amazing. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch. And once again, my name is Bijou. I'm an energy healer, spiritual coach, and I do this with all my heart and with my passion to um, hopefully some way somehow to be able to share my guidance, and for people to go through their natural state of light, which is what we're all here. We're all here to collaborate and help each other. So once again, I appreciate your support. If you wish to like and share, and maybe um, come back and watch another, video. I appreciate that. And I want to wish you the best, and namaste. Until soon. Bye bye. Bijou.